One, two, three, and tonight on the National News Desk, I'm Kelly Wells, and aloha, ladies and gentlemen. That was a real sudden ending. NXT has to remember overruns are a thing of the past. Um, they
I was
don't
going
have,
to ask you about that.
so I assume that's the same thing everybody else got because it is a national news show. So I assume it cut off for everybody right away.
I
Uh,
I watched on Netflix and I did see did you see the end of this match?
Yes, I saw the very end of this match, and that was it. One, two, three, and they cut right to the national news desk. That's how it happened.
Okay. All right. I saw maybe another 5 seconds, like Javon Evans just raised his hand and then
No,
it cut out. All right, cool.
didn't even see that. They were all still on the mat. So yes, your main event, Javon Evans in the number one contenders match with Trick Williams. After a long I really liked this match. This was a very good big versus little. Uh, Javon just bumping all over the place, doing what's going to make him money. The Mr. Perfect, the Shawn Michaels act of just bumping like a champ for his bigger opponents, and and Trick gets distracted by Mike Santana. So Santana's still not in his rearview mirror yet, and apparently they'll probably face off at a TNA show because it seems like there are plenty of matches on this Sunday's show. But Javon Evans will get another shot at Obafemi. Obafemi did not say anything this week, but he was up watching from a perch in this most interesting venue. And there was even an Oba chant during the match, which great, but he's not in the match. But yeah, this was I really liked it. And yes, Brock Benningfield says a distraction from the balcony, which a little silly, sure. But um but they did what they did, and Javon's your number one contender, and we got a show. We've got a card for this Sunday, which I may or may not be able to watch. I am double booked that night in a way that I did not realize until tonight that both of those things were this Sunday. So
Hey, you should
I'll
be
figure that out.
you have no idea how badly I double booked myself and I'm still going to Heatwave. So
That's
you could
right.
find time to watch it. I
Oh,
I accidentally booked a trip to Pennsylvania this weekend. So uh,
oh,
I'm like trying to get back as soon as possible. I'm like getting back and immediately going and meeting Jobin at Heatwave. Um,
okay,
so
okay.
you can do it. I'm trying to motivate you here, man.
Let's hope so. Ryan Solorio did say that this was his second favorite match of the night. That is crazy talk. Although I only saw about half of the opening match because there were crazy storms going on in my neck of the woods for the first 15 minutes of this show, and I missed like half of those first 15 minutes. It was bad. I didn't think I was going to be able to do the show at all. So I missed a decent amount of that, but I did see one spot that was one of the dumbest things I've seen all year, which was Briggs being pushed off of the top rope and then just politely laying down on the table so he could be hit. Oh, it was real dumb. But the match was good otherwise. But anyway, we're talking main event, or allegedly we are doing so. And Nate, tell me all about it.
Wow, this was a heck of a match. So like, obviously Trick Williams, Javon Evans for the rights to fight Obafemi at Heatwave for the title or NXT title. I really wanted to see Javon Evans win this. Matter of fact, Jobin and I were talking on Discord a little bit about this, and both of us, obviously rooting for Javon Evans. Don't really want to see Trick hold both titles and have a WWE superstar holding both TNA men's and women's titles. I don't know. It just doesn't seem. I don't know. I guess it seems very WWE to do. Come in and take another company's titles. But Javon Evans was like an absolute bump machine in this match. I mean, he got. I don't actually know how he started bleeding in the beginning. I all of a sudden I just noticed he was bleeding. Coming from look from the nose or the mouth. But then obviously that massive spot where he gets launched over to the announce desk and I mean more or less completely missed. Just I was completely blown away by that the fact that he got up and he was fine. He wasn't hurt. Really glad that's the case. I guess he really is the bouncy boy. But I thought this was really well done. Javon Evans, I feel like I could see him. I could see him as NXT champion right now. I don't know if I could see him necessarily beating Obafemi for the title, so we'll talk about that. But I feel like Javon Evans is at a point in his run right now where he has the fans behind him, and he's so entertaining on the not just on the mic but in the ring. He could potentially hold gold in this company or in this brand. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens on Sunday at Heatwave. Like I said, I don't think he's going to wind up taking down Obafemi unless somebody comes in, interferes on Javon Evans' behalf, or I guess just because they hate Obafemi. So kind of inadvertently his behalf. But yeah, we'll see.
Oh, I muted myself, but I was already muted. Yoshiki Inamura and Josh Briggs, they were the opener. This was the longest match, although I wouldn't know it because I had to miss.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I missed Ryan's thing in the chat here. I'm not excited for TNA versus NXT. Oh no, I'm very excited for that. I don't know if I accidentally made it come off like I'm not excited for that. Matter of fact, I've already bought my tickets for Bound for Glory. But I'm not a. I think the only thing I said that might have made it come across that like I wasn't excited for that is I don't want to see two WWE wrestlers holding both TNA men's and women's titles unless they give me a really good story there, which they kind of have. Obviously they have been, but I don't know, it just feels like a very WWE thing to do is make a partnership with a company and then take their titles. And kind of we could get into it with AAA too, because that was something something I've seen a lot of people complaining about with Triple Mania and recent AAA shows. But yeah, anyway, that's all I wanted to throw out there. Continue.
All right, opener Inamura and Briggs, and I don't care about matches with weapons. I don't get into them. Street fights are by far my least favorite kind of match. Least of all matches that are done a lot. I don't walk away with them thinking someone's the better man. I'm like, cool, he was able to use a weapon more effectively. And then to keep their finishers over, they usually win with a wrestling move in a match where they're otherwise hitting each other with kendo sticks and stuff. We got some blood in this one, kind of in an unconventional spot when Briggs was underneath the trash can and he got hit a few times. He either bladed in there or something just caught him wrong, and he bled all over the place, and the ref had the gloves on early on. But I missed a bunch of this. I did not miss the spot where Briggs just realized, oh, wait, I'm going through this table. And then he just went back, walked back, and got on the table again. It was bad. Everything else was really good in this, insofar as it was a type of match that I don't normally like. I just think that both these guys are doing great in-ring character work right now. Inamura is kind of an underdog, and Briggs as just an overwhelming, I don't know. I mean, best case scenario, he's having a renaissance a la Drew McIntyre. Like, I'm not ready to christen him that. McIntyre is one of my favorite wrestlers, but but he's figuring it out now. And I dug this, and I am very interested to see what they do next with him, because winning this level of match usually gets you something coming up. But which, I mean, are they going to throw him to Obafemi again, or what are they going to do, Nate?
I don't know. We could see as time goes on here. They might, but I mean, he could also be a really good first challenge. I take that back. I was gonna say he could be a really good first challenger for Javon Evans if Javon Evans wins the title. But then I'm like, no, because I don't want to see Briggs lose, and Javon. I don't want to see Javon end up losing the title right away. So I'm gonna just backtrack and say that was a bad idea. I agree with you, though. I feel like Josh Briggs is starting to find his way here in NXT. And it's something I know we've said a million times on the show, but I mean, he was the last Evolve champion. He knows how to be or he has been a single star in the past. First time on a stage of this caliber, and this is still a relatively small stage compared to like Raw, SmackDown, main roster. But he's really finding himself in this heel role. One thing I wish he'd lose is that stupid flaming skull or smoking skull thing on his. It just looks like it's. I don't know. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. It does not look good. Anyway, other than that, though, I think everything else is working. Inamura, I really hope they sign this guy. Like, as far as I'm aware, he's not under WWE contract. It's still, a thing with Pro Wrestling Noah. So I don't know. Like, I'm with Brock. Brock Branningfield in the chat. There's something about Yoshiki that I really like, and I'm right there. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it's certainly his charisma. Actually, I guess I can put my finger. It's a mix of his charisma and his in-ring work. He's when English isn't your first language and you have kind of have issues, not issues, but difficulties, I guess, speaking it, in long sentences and things like we've kind of seen with Inamura. At least it seems that way to me. It's hard to kind of I think connect with the audience, but he's certainly doing that. I mean, week after week, he's connected with the audience, especially in his run for the NXT title. When he going up against Oba. Sorry, my throat is dry. I was trying to get through it. But when he was going up against Oba for the NXT title, he really had the fans behind him for that. And I think it's kind of just carried on. I'm really hoping that they carry or wind up signing him long term. So I think, I don't know if he'd necessarily hit top of WWE or anything like that, but I think he could certainly be a solid upper mid card guy for WWE, long term. And CJ, we will hit your question in a little bit. I don't know if you saw that, Kelly.
I did. Yeah.
I
don't know what to say about it, though. It's just like with Vince Russo saying people like Bailey can't talk and they're not star. I don't think anything that Russo says is relevant. I just don't. No. I think that he lost the plot on wrestling a long time ago, and I don't think he says what he says because he believes it. I think he's been a grifter forever. I think he always has said, I think he's working all the time. And is a throwback to a time when wrestling was really carny, and I don't care what he says. Like I don't think there's any merit in any of it. I wouldn't even spend a second thinking about what Russo says. Okay.
Ditto.
Ricky Starks and Jasper Troy. Why not? Because that's what my eyes fell on next. This went 9 minutes and 11 seconds. Starks with the tornado DDT. Jasper Troy is getting okay. He's got like this full body tackle that doesn't quite work yet. He's not hitting all the extremities at the same time. he's got, like, I don't want to say green. Nobody on TV strikes me as overly green anymore in the sense that they used to be.
It's no
And
NXT
then
2.0.
yeah, well, I mean, NXT 2.0 didn't even have that many super green people on it.
You forget the early days of NXT 2.0.
No, I don't. I know that I know we got BFAB versus who did she face? Electra Lopez. Oh man, 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 that was bad. And I know we had Nikita, who's still out there and still in Evolve, and like her matches are still exactly as good as they ever were. Anyway, but Jasper Troy's got work to do, but they believe in him and they're keeping him on this show. Although I would have said start out with him and Tyra on Evolve. And Tyra, it seemed like that's what she was going to do. She did one, maybe two matches there and had like a mini storyline, and then they pulled her up. So I don't know. And Ryan Solorio says Briggs and Jensen were really green when 2.0 started. Briggs was kind of long in the tooth when 2.0 started. He had been wrestling for a while. I don't want to say long in the tooth, but he'd been wrestling. Jensen definitely was. Jensen is actually on Evolve now too. He's a regular Evolve guy now. It is insofar as anybody's regular. It's only an hour-long show, so a lot of people aren't on every show and aren't getting booked on every show. So sometimes I forget who's actually still there, and I don't know if they're still there or if they've been cut. But yeah, Starks over Troy, 9 minutes, 11 seconds, tornado DDT. I said Starks multiple times already, so I'm going to have to walk that back.
I didn't even pick up on that.
In the recap, I wrote Starks probably the first 7 to 10 times, and then I had to go back and change them all. And I've been saying Starks on this podcast, and nobody in the chat corrected me. So I think we're all just we've all collectively forgotten again what the man's name is, which is why I say if you're going to change a guy's name, change the hell out of it.
It's too similar.
It's way too easy. Saints over Troy, Nate.
Yes, so I agree. I don't think Jasper Troy is green in the sense of, shouldn't be on TV or anything like that. But there are certainly moments. He has his moments. He's still learning, and I cannot fault him for that whatsoever. I think your casual fan. I would say, probably a good half of the people, if not more, that watch NXT, because I know NXT tends to be a bit more of a us type of an audience. I think most people watching won't even really pick up on a lot of that. He has a presence about him. It might have helped him, to start on Evolve or something like that. But obviously they see something in him to take him directly from LFG, put him on TV, and give him the push that he's given. He's been given. And like I said, I think this match actually was really good. Now, obviously, he's in there with somebody like Ricky Stark Saints, and who's going to lead him to a good match anyway. No matter who it is. I mean, Ricky can have a good match, probably a paper bag. But obviously, he needs to have the skills to be able to do it himself. He being Jasper. It's so weird. My first dog's name was Jasper, and I've never talked about anybody else named Jasper before. So every time I say his name, it just sounds wrong. Yeah, I think they've got something here with Jasper Troy. I really do. Give him a year or two to get his feet under him a little bit more, establish himself a little bit more, win a few accolades, whether it be titles or things like the Andre Memorial Battle Royal or some other random thing they could make up. Speaking of which, when are we going to get another Dusty Classic? I want a Dusty Classic. It's been a while. Completely off topic, but I think
It's going to have to be a while. They torpedoed the entire tag team division just to make Hank and Tank the champions, and they have not recovered from that yet.
No, they have not. They have not. But like I said, I think they've got something here with Jasper Troy. He's certainly got it, and I think once he refines it and once he hones it, he might be somebody that we're kind of I'm gonna say hating, but in a good way. Like just a good solid heel. I think he's gonna be a natural heel. We'll see as time goes on, but yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a best case scenario Kane kind of guy.
Yeah, I'd agree
and if you
with
can
that.
be Kane, it's pretty good to be Kane. Okay. Our other match was, yes, there were only 4. Was the Elegance brand versus Fatal Influence. We are going to have JC Jane and Ash by Elegance, who is the former Dana Brooke, and Masha Slamovich in a triple threat for the TNA Women's Championship. Masha Slamovich was the referee of this, and she played it straight until she was distracted during a time which Ash would have pinned Jasmine Nix. And for me, that was so effective because Jasmine was the one eating the pin. So I was like, oh, was she really just out of place? Because Jasmine has to eat pins all the time. So I really thought that was the finish. But indeed, that was a red herring. And during this distraction, JC Jane hit her move, which has a name that should be memorable, but I have not committed it to memory yet. I could have written it down, but I didn't. Fatal Influence defeats the Elegance brand, a 6-man, a 6-woman match with no baby faces except the referee. But all that aside, I thought it was kind of fun. The rolling encore. Thank you, Ryan Solorio. Yeah, I thought that this was kind of fun, and I don't know when this match is. Is this one? I can't remember if this is on Sunday or if this is on a TNA show, Nate.
I was going to say it would help if I put my microphone down by my mouth when I'm talking. I gotta look it up actually. Now I'm not 100% sure. I was going to say Heatwave, and then now I'm JC Jane versus Masha Slap. Okay, so it is going to be at Heatwave, the show that I'm going to on Sunday. No, I thought this was a fun match. Like you said, there wasn't a single babyface in here except for Masha, but I think it certainly worked. It was kind of cool to see Dana Brooke back in or Ash by Elegance back in WWE ring. She's had I can't remember. She didn't have a match before, but I know she showed up as Ash by Elegance. Maybe she did. I don't remember, but still cool to see her back. I was becoming a fan of hers before she left, or was let go, or whatever it was. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a lot going on in the match. Nothing like that really actually stands out like super much to me at the moment. I'm really kind of focused more on the match, coming up on Sunday. I think Ash by Elegance is here to obviously eat the pin. I think JC Jane's probably going to wind up pinning Ash by Elegance. Masha doesn't get pinned, so she can claim she never got pinned to try and get another title shot. It obviously keeps Masha looking strong, and it keeps the heat on JC. She's got a lot of heat on her right now. I think both in WWE or NXT and TNA. Oh Jesus. I didn't know my roommate was still here and just dropped something and scared the crap out of me. But I don't even remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, no. So I think that Ash by Elegance here, eat the pin, keep Masha strong. and keep the heat on JC. JC is, I mean, she's got so much heat on her here in NXT, same in TNA, especially in TNA. I feel like because she is that outsider that's holding their title, similarly to Trick. So yeah, really looking forward to that match, even though I think it's got a pretty predictable outcome.
In the chat, Brock Benningfield says, I do not like the personal concierge. I know you're not supposed to like him, but he's really annoying.
I love him.
Yeah, and again, see, I'm with Brock. I feel like he got ready for this by watching like some of the lesser guys in the territory days who were overacting so badly. It's like,
yeah, that's what I love about it.
Oh, it's terrible. He looks like he's trying to do an impression of what he thinks pro wrestling bad guy managers are, and not like what an actual pro wrestling bad guy manager is. I don't know if Brock and I feel the same way. I just think it's so overacted that I'm like, my genuine feeling is this is wrestling, and I still think that he's laying it on too thick. That's how. And Corey called out that he looks like a turtle, which was the funniest thing about the best thing that the concierge has brought to the show so far is Corey saying that he needs to find his shell so he can get on out of here. Yeah, that's about that match. Everything else was backstage or a non-wrestling segment. Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe. This got a lot of time, and I thought it was kind of funny that Blake Monroe went the distance to get a contract signed, apparently from Ava, which why does Ava just do whatever everybody wants? So she made it so Jordan can't touch her before the match, which isn't real hard because there's only one show before the match. But then had a bunch of male security with her. And Jordan Grace finally said, I don't need to touch you to make a point. And then she took out 3 of the security guys. And I have wanted this to happen so long. One guy just looked at her, crapped his pants, and ran out of the building. That was fantastic. I love that they saved one guy to just run away. Because I always think that would be just a great spot, and they never do it. So yeah, Grace and Monroe, this was one where Grace was probably speaking a lot of the truth of her life, it felt. Like her very real insecurities, and said she's not in this for revenge. She just wants to hold a mirror up to Blake Monroe. So kind of an interesting little storyline. And also I thought I was going to step in here and win championships, and that hasn't happened. And, of course, the real fact is that she got there at the same time as Julia and Stephanie. But yeah, Grace and Monroe, they did a thing.
So it's one of the reasons I really like this feud is the fact that they are kind of leaning into a lot of Jordan Grace's real life insecurities, things that she has been vocal about, with I don't know if she's come out and said the term body dysmorphia, but I think she has in the past, where she she just never really liked her body. Even on her interview, it's maybe 2 or 3 months ago now with Chris Van Vliet, she was talking about how even now she looks at herself and she still doesn't see what the rest of the world sees. So I think it's really important that we have some of those stories and some of these angles where we do tackle those real life things that people go through. Wrestling has a way of reaching people in ways that a lot of other forms of entertainment don't, and I think those things, we want to lean into those things and kind of give people somebody to look up to and something to latch onto. It's a similar thing with Miles Bourne and them kind of leaning into him being deaf and challenges to overcome, but they're not going to stop him. Things like that. I just think it's a good role model. That's the word I was looking for this entire time. I think it's just a good good way for them to kind of keep those role models front and center. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this match. Actually, I'm really looking forward to the entire card for Heatwave. I'm not going to lie, but this match in particular, first, it's going to be the first time that I'm actually going to see Blake Monroe wrestle in person. Actually, Jordan Grace too. Now that I think about it, and I'm not super familiar with Blake Monroe outside of the few things she's done in the last handful of weeks she's been here. So looking forward to that. One thing I wanted to mention, the contract. She brings out this contract tonight, right? Now, whenever there's a contract in a binder, doesn't the other wrestler need to sign it? And if Jordan Grace didn't sign it, does that mean she is beholden to the fact that she cannot attack before the match? I don't know. I might be reading too much into it, but I feel like there's a loophole there.
Yeah, I'm very with you. Like, how do you make somebody contractually obligated to do something when they never saw the contract?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
because all Blake Monroe could have done was like, I agree that I can't get hit by this person. Well, you can't guarantee that. So yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was a little too easy.
A little bit, So I honestly, that's where I thought the angle was going to go, was the fact it's like, oh, well, you need two people to sign a contract, and then she was just going to attack her, then sign the contract, and be like, okay, now I won't hit you. But I think it was effective, the other way too. So yeah, there we go.
All right. USA and Canada peace treaty. I loved that Canada threw out the table beforehand because they didn't feel safe with a table in there.
The smartest thing I think I've seen a wrestler do in a long time.
Yep. And the Secret Hervis doing their things outside the ring, reacting when they have to. Doing their thing. And then Tavian Heights and Tyra May Steele. I was a little worried about reaction because Heights and Steele have not been known for very long. Steele especially. And Ethan Page is really good at his job, and Chelsea Green is really, really funny. So I was really afraid that they were going to get the babyface reaction, but they kept Philadelphia against them. They figured out how to do it. Chelsea is not afraid to bust out the big heel lines when she has to. And this got into, maybe the weirdest mixed tag match we have ever seen on this brand, not just this brand, like in this company. This is one of the stranger mixed tags we've ever seen. Brock says Chelsea's a national treasure. I mean, if she could wrestle, but she's really, really good outside the ring.
She's a Canadian treasure. Come on.
It's
right there. It's right there.
Yep. And that's what she would say in response to that. What nation are you talking about? But yes, they're going to do a mixed tag, and it's really weird that Ethan Page, after the really cruel stuff he's been doing, is now in a storyline that's more or less comedic. But now that we have our baby faces, it's a lot more intense than I thought it was going to be. So I don't know. This was you wouldn't think that you could put together these elements and come up with something that was so much fun, but I actually really dug this, Nate.
No, I completely agree. And, right now, I have some very strong feelings about this country, and it's hard for me to get behind segments like this. But this was, oh my God, this was hilarious. Chelsea Green has so won me over in the last year or so. I remember when being on the Indies. Was it in Lucha Underground where she was doing the crazy crazy wife wedding gimmick. I don't remember. Might have not been Lucha Underground. Might have been somewhere else. But anyway,
I don't think it was, but I don't know where it was.
yeah. But I mean, between that, her work in against Penta, Lucha Underground, things like I was super aware of her and I was a fan. But like, I absolutely love what she's been doing over like the last year or so with the U.S. title and all of that. So like you said, the pairing of her and Ethan Page, I was kind of thinking they may get a babyface reaction, and Chelsea did. Chelsea did. Matter of fact, she even said that she was getting distracted by all the love she was getting tonight as the crowds. I think they were chanting for her, like chanting her name. It was either chanting her name, but the chant was definitely for her, or whatever they were chanting. I don't remember. I think both Ethan Page and Chelsea Green, even if they were to get babyface reaction from the crowd, I think they're both professional enough and they are veteran enough to have been able to turn the crowd back around, get them booed, and try to get the babyface reaction on Tavion Heights and Tyra May Steele. I was really also kind of worried about how Tavion and Tyra were going to handle themselves here. Tavion, he's not really known for his mics. Granted, he hasn't had a whole bunch of opportunities to really be on the mic, but when I think of Tavion Heights, I think of in-ring work. I don't necessarily think of his mic skills. Not bad, but to stand up against Ethan Page and Chelsea Green, And then Tyra May Steele, I don't know if I've really ever heard her talk outside of the couple things she said, last week or the week before, whatever it was. I think she held her own. She still has a long way to go on the mic for sure. But I think she was able to. She spoke with conviction, and she came across as good as her acting came across as good as it can for a wrestling show, I guess. Like I said, clearly some things to work on, but but she did better than I was expecting, I guess. I'm not really sure what I was expecting, but I think she did. She certainly outperformed what my expectations were. Yes, I think that is what I was talking about, the hot mess character from TNA. Thank you, Ryan. Ryan, you're like coming in clutch tonight. Neither one of us can remember anything, and you're just like, oh yeah, it's this. Yeah, I think that's about it. Like I said, oh yeah, the tag match, that should be that is I guess kind of right, the strange mixed tag match, but it should be a good time. Should be a good time. I'm assuming we're going to see the Team USA go over because, hey, it's WWE and that's what they do.
They're also, that team is the only team with reasons to win, because if Heights pins Page, then you've got a new North American contender.
Yep.
If Steele pins Green, then she's gotten the rub from beating a main roster person. And I can't think of a really good reason for the heels to win other than to just just to say what we already know. And I think it would really set back the baby faces. So I think the reasons are very good for the baby faces to win this match. Totally aside from it being the US Canada thing.
No, I mean, that actually makes a lot of sense. Not just put it that way. I'm just my mind is clouded by other things with this particular angle. So there's that. We'll move on.
I'm old enough to have lived through a lot of xenophobic storylines, and fans chanting USA, and I'm like, this guy isn't even playing an evil foreigner. Like, I just looking around the crowd, like, am I crazy? What is
I just don't even know if I can chant USA right now. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Okay, so a little bit of cleanup. Fatal Influence had a scene with Zaruka and Laney Reed. I know they had a scene, but this was the one and only time after the early minutes that my TV blipped, and I don't know what they were talking about. And it's not the first time during a Laney Reed brief appearance that I blinked and I missed it. Dark State had a scene with Ava, and Joe Hendry appeared. So Dark State, as I thought they would, said that we won't know who's wrestling for the tag team championships until they're in the building. Kalani Jordan and Lola Vice had a little snipe session, and then Lash showed up and showed them how to snipe like a pro, and Jada Parker wasn't there. Miles Bourne and Lexus King had a scene that was Jake the Snake and Rick Martel, and Rick Martel sprayed him with arrogance, and now Miles Bourne is blind as well as deaf. And then Kendall Gray showed up again. Out of all the people on Evolve, this is such a weird one to be moving into TNA, because Kendall Gray is one of the only people on Evolve that has no character. Like, she has no gimmick. She's just a wrestler who occasionally has mild emotions. Like, she's pretty good in the ring. Like, very, I would say. But like, I always forget about her because she's just not. I don't know. She's kind of a blank slate, so she needs something. And they're clearly not trying to give it to her on NXT yet. They're just like, hey, here's a person. And then Ren Sinclair was in there, and Charlie Dempsey, I believe, poked the bear with the calling and ended up 1-on-2, and he's going to have a partner. And I'm worried that it's going to be Miles Bourne, but Miles Bourne he's stuck in his thing with Lexus.
No, it's Ren. It's Ren. He got a 2-on-1 match. The two girl, Tatum and Izzy versus Ren.
Oh, that's what it was. So
yes.
Ren needs somebody. Well, then it'll be Kendall Gray.
It's got to be.
She was in the scene.
Yeah.
All right. That part I just plain missed because I had no cable thing to blame it on. Okay, so that was all of the other stuff that was on the show. So anything from all of the other stuff?
Oh man, there were a lot of other stuff. Dark State, so they showed up and talked to Ava for a little bit. I don't know how you feel about these segments where they just show up and talk to Ava, but I feel like it takes the mystique away from them completely, and that's something that they've been, I feel like, trying to hold on to with Dark State. Like, they're coming down to the ring. The lights go out, start flashing. They come down to the ring, wreak havoc on everything. A lot of vignettes and pre-recorded things, and then they come out in like a live segment like this talking to Ava. They just come across as, I don't know, just any other wrestler to me. And then especially who's the guy who's you don't want us to be behind you. The white guy, can't think of his name.
Starts with C. He's the least. Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's the least like kind of, I don't know, just the least.
He has a name that
memorable
sounds
guy.
Like a Greek life.
Cutler
bro.
James.
Cutler James. Yeah, he just sounds like a spoiled rich kid. He doesn't.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe that's his real name. A lot of those guys involved in their real names.
So yeah, I don't know. It's like now they're trying to make him like a bit of comedic relief. This just feels like Retribution to me all over again. Just they come out, they want this dominant faction, and then it just kind of. And
for me, it's kind of calling back to Sanity, because in NXT 8 years back, I'm watching a lot of Sanity right now, and Sanity just lost.
I could see that.
Lost most of the time. They did briefly win the tag championships, which I had totally forgotten, but for the most part, they lose.
I miss Sanity.
And Dark
That was
State
a good stable.
might already watch it again. You will not agree with yourself right now. It was not
Well,
good.
I mean, like
It was a good
on
idea.
paper, that's what I mean. Like on paper, it was a good
It
stable.
was
I
a
know in
good
practice
idea,
it wasn't.
but they were never promoted well. It was pretty rough. Like easily the best thing that Sanity ever did was the first time they were that they entered the ring. Like you think back and you're like, that was awesome. And then there was like no follow up at all.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's what I'm talking about on NXT 8 years back. You can email us at pwtorchnxt@gmail.com. This is from Kevin Catani. Salutations, gents. I hope this email finds you well. I know I made a comment about this a few weeks ago, but I believe if Joe Henry's current iteration is to
say his name and he appears.
That
I
was
have to.
I was going to say that. That was about 11 times too loud in my ears.
Sorry.
So freaking good. Okay. Moving on. Is to randomly pop up when someone says his name. I'm here for it. That's there's a real danger of defining Joe way down if he goes all into this comedy gimmick without sitting on the fence. Which side of the gimmick are you all on? On the side you're on. I think that it would be real problematic if he just comes out of freezers and desk drawers and pencil sharpeners. That's not likely. Actually, I would love that. If he just keeps coming out of stuff when people say his name, there's diminishing returns on there. Secondly, I saw circulating online of Ava training with Charlotte. Do you think she is prepping for an in-ring return? Do you think she should? Do I think she is? Yes. Do I think she should? No, based on the everything we saw last time. But I have strongly disliked wrestlers before that have put in the work and have shocked me out of my brain. Brock Benningfield says Joe Hendry comes out of Vic's bowl of candy. I was thinking of Vic's bowl of candy tonight. That's amazing. Lastly, who do you think will be the next non-WWE talent to pop up in NXT for a program? I don't know who's in TNA, so I don't know. Thanks as always. Go VIP and listen to 8YB. Office hours are now over. The Professor, Kevin P. Catani, PhD. Nate, go ahead.
All right. So, on which side of the fence am I on with Joe Hendry? I mean, this is Joe Hendry's gimmick. You say his name and he appears. And I mean, he's been doing it on the Indies and TNA now for 4-ish years, maybe a little less than that, maybe more than that. I don't know, something like that. I love it. I personally love it. Like maybe it might have some diminishing returns or anything. Something I don't know. I think I'm here for it. I mean, I still love everything R-Truth does. So, and I think most people do too, but I think it could be kind of in a similar vein as that. The thing is Joe Hendry, when you get him in the ring, he's relatively credible. R-Truth, I mean, I'm not saying he's not, especially, Ron Killings, things like that, maybe a little bit of a bump up from his 75 overall score in WWE 2K25 or 73. I don't know. I don't remember. It's in the 70s. But I'm on the fence if I love it. On the side of that fence, I love it. I think he should just continue on with it, and as long as people are enjoying it, keep going with it. If it starts to get negative reactions or muted reactions, then maybe change things up a little bit. But and Ryan in the chat says it helped that Joe stopped popping out of random stuff as TNA champion, which from my understanding he did. I wasn't watching TNA at the time, but I've heard people talk about that, and I can't find any real times where he would popped out of something with the TNA title. Because believe it or not, I did actually look for that at one point. But videos circulating online of Ava training with Charlotte. I mean, I did not see those videos, honestly, so I'd have to actually see it before I kind of know. But if that's the case and she's training with Charlotte, maybe she's training for an in-ring return. Her first run was not great. That's why they put her in the role that she's in. But I mean, I'm with Kelly. There have been wrestlers that I haven't liked in the past, and they've won me over time. I talked about one earlier tonight, By Elegance, Dana, the former Dana Brooke. That was not really a huge fan of hers at first. First, especially when she first debuted, and by the end, I really liked what she was doing. And then the next non-WWE talent to show up, man, I don't know. Like, there's a big part of me that I know he's already had a little bit. He had one moment in NXT, and it was in a Battle Royal, Frankie Kazarian. But he's been such a veteran in the business. He's been in TNA for so long. I think it'd be just cool to get, he is synonymous with TNA. So he's one of those people that I feel like it'd be really cool to see come over. If like Christopher Daniels, if he wasn't retired or at this point, he's another one that I'd love to see come over. We have seen Eddie Edwards come over. Eddie's a local boy, so like I was watching Eddie on the Indies back in 2001, 2002, or no, sorry, later than that. 2002, 2003. So it'd be cool to see him come over. But I'm looking up and down the roster right now. Oh, maybe, you know what? I get an idea after last night when Paul Heyman said that Tommy Dreamer should, if he's not dead, but he should be. I want to see Tommy Dreamer come out and hit Paul Heyman with the kendo stick. So there we go. That's my
Dreamer
call.
is not super well liked among wrestlers, so I don't know if that. I don't know. He's got a complicated legacy. I know that.
Believe me, I know. Believe me, I know.
But, yeah, and I also don't know. Tommy Dreamer is just so boring. Okay. I'm not trying to be so negative at the end of a good show. I just never got the act at all. Okay.
Ooh, how about this? The former Iconics inspiration.
What about them?
Have them show up in WWE.
Oh, have them show up? Yes, they would get a nice response. It would be. I'm sure they're keeping that bullet for when it's worth firing. So I hope that I hope that something good comes out of that. Because I thought that they had a lot more life in them when they were let go. I thought that was one of the years where they really went hog wild, and Billy Kay's really funny.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that they had more life to live in the company. So we'll see. Maybe next time around they will. Okay. So that, I believe, is our show. Kelly Wells, you can find me on Blue Sky at Other Kelly Wells. I'm also doing a lot of stuff on Threads. I hate it. I don't know why I'm doing it, but I'm doing it. Nate, who are you?
I'm Nate. I don't do social media much anymore.
Cool. Not with a bang, but a whimper. We head out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Ryan Solorio had something to say. So
Ryan Solorio did have something to say. And Ryan, you're here this week. Horseshit.
There you go. For those of you not following the video, you really should be, because horseshoe. See you in 7.